This is the Voice of Land on the Big Play Network with your hosts, Kevin Arnold and Jay Banky. What's going on, everybody? Welcome on in to another edition of the Voice of Land here on the Big Play Network and partnered with LPV Productions. We are brought to you by Vector Technical. They will get the right person in the right job the first time. We'll have more information on them as the show goes on in our commercial breaks. And also sponsored by DP Construction LLC. Reach out to them for all your concrete construction needs. Never too early. Yes, I know it's snowing outside. Yes, the roads aren't great, but it's never too early to start thinking about those concrete construction needs around the house or around your small business. So reach out by phone 330-217-4999. That's 330-217-4999. As we said, this is the Voice of Land. I'm one of your hosts, Kevin Arnold, joined as always by Always Positive Jay, and he is our Jarvis to our Iron Man. He is audio, or better known behind that proverbial glass as our producer extraordinaire, Peter Tillip. That's a lot of words, but we'll basically we're just going to call him audio now. So if you hear audio, that is Peter. We'll remind you every couple shows, but that's where we're at. But we thank you so much for tuning in, whether on Twitter. Make sure you follow us at VTL_pod, on our Facebook page at Voice of Land, our YouTube channel at Voice of Land Podcast, and then make sure you like and follow Big Play on all social media sites. We are live on their Facebook page as well this evening, and you can always catch the audio on all your major podcast platforms throughout the week, and we'll post some clips to our YouTube channel as well. So hit like on those videos, but make sure you hit that subscribe button. And we are so excited tonight because this is a huge show for us, and we can't thank our guest enough. It's a guest-a-palooza here, and we start off with one heck of a guest. It is Browns running back Demetric Felton joining us here on the Voice of Land. Demetric, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. How are things out in California?
Oh, it's great right now. I'm not in snow. I get to be warm, so I'm enjoying it a lot right now.
I'm just going to tell you right now, Demetric, we're living vicariously through you on the show. You know, as much as we're going to have some fun and talk some Star Wars and, you know, nerd out on some things and talk a little football, vicariously we're living through you right now. We're feeling the warmth from California through the Zoom call right now. So we appreciate you coming on and bringing that warmth to Cleveland, Ohio, even for a few moments.
Hey, no problem.
So, Demetric, we'll get into all the Star Wars stuff, like we said here, in just a moment, and all the fun stuff we're going to get into. But, you know, Brown season wrapped up a couple weeks ago. We were kind of talking before we came on. You know, playoffs are going on right now. I know you guys wanted to be there, but for you personally, how would you kind of describe your first year in the NFL? What did you learn, and what are the off-season workouts going to look like for you, fueled by what you learned in your first year from college to the pros?
Yeah, definitely. Disappointing season for us. You know, we all wanted to make it to the playoffs and go have a chance at that ring, but you know, things happen. So right now we're just gonna, reset, take a nice little needed break, and then get back to it when it's time. My first year, I had a really good time. You know, it was a lot. The team dealt with a lot, but through that, I was able to make a lot of good friendships with my new teammates, be able to learn from a lot of guys that I grew up watching, whether it's Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb, and like a whole bunch of other guys on the team, man. Just seeing how they go about their business, how they work, was very exciting for me and a dream come true. So, I really enjoyed it. For the off season, right now I'm just chilling out, just resting right now, spending time with my family. But sooner or later, I'm gonna go back to Arizona and start training at Exos, get my speed back up, strength and everything. Just trying to hone in on all my skills. So when I come back to camp, I'm able to show them that they can, use me more. So that's the plan.
Your first touchdown I was there. It was electric. You busted out the spin move on someone, broke another tackle, and then you hit the speed burst. It looked like a Madden play. How pumped were you to get that first NFL touchdown? Like, that just had to be awesome for you.
It was amazing. Like I was just, the whole preseason, like I was catching the ball and whatnot, but like not making like any plays. I wanted to show them that I'm a playmaker and whatnot. So when that happened, it kind of just happened. It was so like it was wild. Um, Jarvis ended up going down, so they just threw me out there, and we ran a screen, and then I ran that a lot of college and everything. Just hit the hole. Guys were in good position, so I just could get through the hole, and then the rest is just instincts.
Yeah.
So it was awesome, man. Great experience. Had my parents in that end zone too, so be able to share that moment with them after just grinding and them always being there with me every step of the way. It was a great experience.
Yeah, I'd say one of my favorite things I noticed about you right away is you have a lot of heart when you play. Like you sell out to catch that ball like over the middle. You're not afraid to take a hit. You want the ball and you're going to catch it. And I just appreciate that. Like you have no idea, my friend.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Well, looking at touchdowns too, it's kind of crazy that you catch one in the first home game in a screen pass, a little bit longer in nature, and then you catch one in the last home game too. But more so with that last touchdown, that special moment with the fan in the stands. It was his first game, a kid. I saw it on Bill and the Browns, but just kind of talk to how important it is for you to be that role model, kind of what experiences you may have had as a kid, that kind of players interacting with kids and kind of bringing them up or anything like that, having that interaction with the youth or making an impact in your community. How important is that to you?
I feel like that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Um, when I was growing up, I was surrounded by great men like my father, my coaches, people who were great role models to me, and always, went out their way to do something special for me. And so when I knew whenever I had that opportunity that I want to do the same thing. I want to give kids inspiration, hope, and in hopes that it'll make them better, make them better people, and be able to pass that along as well.
And I mean, being that inspiration, the kids, who may have been like an inspiration maybe on the team or someone you could go to all the time? You had one heck of a running back room, but also in the wide receiver room, special teams room. Who were those guys or coaches that you could go to even in your first year to gain inspiration from, and whether for on the field or off the field, who were those guys for you in year one?
Yeah, it was in the running back room. It was definitely Coach Stump and
Best beard in the
Nick.
business.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. He has a pretty awesome beard, but he's a great guy. He's a great guy. He's a great coach, and he always encouraged me ever since I stepped foot in Berea. Just he always, told me that he had high expectations, and he believed in me, even though I was a late round pick. And so to have that support system around you is great, man. And in the wide receiver room, Coach O'Shea, Donovan Peoples-Jones, like Donovan definitely helped me out a lot. He was another 6th-round pick, so he just shared with me his experiences, and I was just able to pick his brain about it, learn from him, and he's been a great help to me ever since I've been here.
So, like, one of my favorite things about the draft is I love watching your guys' reaction. Like, where else do you get to watch young people like you got your dream job and then you see the reaction? How was it, even though you were a 6th-round pick, like, to know you just got drafted in the NFL? Like, what did that feel like to you?
It was amazing, man. It was just like, wow. It was just like a really just humbling experience to know that I accomplished my dream, something that I said that I wanted to do since I was 7 years old. And I never strayed away from it. I always wanted to play football in the league and play football in college. So being able to knock down all those goals is it's a blessing first and foremost. And it's just a testament to hard work and dedication.
Now, I set you up for this because this is like you're breaking one of our dreams. Like you're creating a dream for us right now. I'm talking to a Browns player. We're going to talk about Star Wars. Like, I'm like, dreams come true. Like, this is surreal to me right now that I'm literally talking to a Browns player. Probably unprofessional to gush about this, but whatever. We don't care.
I mean,
We're just happy we're unbelievably happy right now.
yeah.
I feel like when you got drafted, it's like this is surreal to me right now.
Yep.
I mean, there's career aspirations for all of us, but I mean, it's just this is a fun time, and we're having a lot of fun with Browns running back Demetric Felton, who's joining us here on the Voice of the Land tonight. And just to wrap up the football talk, though, I saw on Building the Browns, I saw a few things on there that really caught my eye, and we're gonna. I have a couple questions for you about Uno too to get to either before or after our first break. But one thing that I saw that you do collect is NFL jerseys, and saw that you had gotten Jarvis's jersey from the Texans game, looking for that to be signed. But what other jerseys do you have already, and which ones are you looking to get? Are you most anticipating trying to get for that collection?
Man, okay. Well, I'll start off what I have. So, a lot of them are like UCLA alumni. So I have Eric Kendricks, my boy Chris Barnes, linebacker, for the Green Bay Packers. Who else? I got one of Odell's jerseys. I wanted one of those badly, so I was happy I got that before he left. Those. Man, I'm like drawing blanks.
It's like when you're trying to download music and then you can't think of a single song when you want to download it. You're like, what is it?
Yeah.
But then when you're not by your computer, like, oh, there's this song and that song.
Yeah. Greg gave me one. There's a lot I need more, but I got a good amount like of jerseys. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's another rookie. He plays for the Lions, and he broke the rookie receiving record. So I was like, ooh, I'm glad I got that one.
Yeah, he did pretty well for me in fantasy football, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, he had a great year. Man, I gotta go back in the stash and see what else I got. But I got a good little collection right now. I still need to get jerseys from Chubb, Kareem, bunch of guys on the team that I want to get. I know I want to get a Keenan Allen jersey. I know I want to get a.
Can't have any Steelers jerseys though. No Steelers jerseys. That's our only rule.
All right, I don't have one of those yet.
If you get one, just don't tell us. That's all. Yeah. If you get one, don't tell us. I know buddies are all around the league and guys you went to school with, so don't worry about it. If you get one, just don't tell us about it. It's all right.
Yeah, I'll just keep it low key.
All right.
But yeah, man, there's a whole bunch of jerseys. I can't name all the people because I'm gonna ask them. I'll be asking everybody. So.
Well, I mean, I also see you collect shoes. I'm a big shoe guy. I've had to, I got a wedding coming up, so I've kind of had to, make sure I'm budgeting for that. So I've put away the trying to get shoes added to my collection. I don't have very many, but have a few, like 30 or so in my room right now. I saw that you were like retweeting a bunch of shoes online. I just had to ask you, like, what is the line of shoes that you got to collect, or is there a brand that you go to more often? Are you able to get in on these drops on these shoes or anything, or is it just like, just kind of always had that link to shoes, like really into the shoe game?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it definitely kind of started in college, where I started like trying to like get shoes and whatnot, and then my dad got into it too, and so my dad his collection is insane. I need to show you guys that because it's way better than mine.
Yeah, you'll have to tweet that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I need to show like just a little picture of it because it's insane. He should be ashamed of himself. But just definitely just Jordans. My favorite Jordans are Jordan 1s, Jordan 4s. Those are my favorite silhouettes. And then I recently, since I'm signed to Adidas, I've been getting into a lot of those shoes too. And so my favorite pair of Adidas is the Forums. The Forums are really clean to me. So I have a pretty wide range. That it's just I feel like it's just fun, man. Just being able to just another hobby. and something that you can connect with people with, a lot of conversation starters and whatnot. So definitely love my shoes and my jersey collection. I'm just wanting to get better and better.
Yeah, I'm a big Ultra Boost guy from Adidas, and if there's one shoe out there that's on my bucket list, if I don't get any other like high profile type shoes the rest of my life, I'm totally fine with it if I get my hands on a pair of Jordan 11 Space Jams, because like that was my favorite movie growing up as a kid. First one I got to see in theaters. Space Jam Jordan 11s is the one pair of shoes I still is the only one I would need, and I would be fine never getting another pair of shoes except for the ones I got to beat up and walk around the streets through the snow all the time in.
Yeah, I always get Nike Air Max 90s a lot.
Those are clean too.
I got a
Oh
pair
yeah.
of orange ones that are like camoed
Yeah.
for the game days. I get people that stop me and like, can I take pictures of those? I'm like, okay, I don't care. Like, sure, I appreciate it. Like, it's kind of cool, but yeah,
Yeah.
people love shoes, man. They do
Yeah.
love their shoes.
They do. It's like I don't know. You beat them up, they get dirty pretty easily and whatnot. But no, it's just something about having a cool looking pair of shoes that is exciting to people. But I'm never able to win on the drops. Or do you guys have any luck or?
I don't even try.
I had
Yeah.
I had one, and it wasn't even me who had the luck. I was working at the time. My fiance, Jana, she was able to get in on a sneakers drop for LeBron 17's, his I Promise School ones. You know, what he's done in this community. Of course, big fan of him growing up. But
There's a jersey you need.
yeah, that is a jersey that you need. But I mean, he'll be in town, I think, in a little while. But I don't know when that Lakers Cavs game is. But you're out in California, so maybe you get to see him in California. I don't know. But his work he's done in the community, and those I Promise School ones were really cool. And that was the only time that we even tried. And because everybody's got those bots now, and the guys that resell them online and everything. Like, it's so hard if you want the shoe yourself, it's so hard to get those to actually pay retail. You're gonna pay like $200 more if that to get
It's
shoes you really
ridiculous.
want.
Yeah, it's too they I feel like they just make it too hard for people to be able to get the shoes they want now. Just because of the bots, they take up everything and then they just ruin the shoe game with all that stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, everybody's into shoes. So, but everybody's also into Star Wars. So we're gonna hit our first break, Demetric. Stick with us. We appreciate you coming on. We'll hit our first break, and on the other side, it is all Star Wars. I promise.
Spoiler alert: we will be
Spoiler.
talking Boba Fett.
Yes, spoilers alerts coming up. You are tuned into the Voice of Land. We are joined by Browns running back Demetric Felton. We will be right back after a few short messages from our sponsor.
Whether you're looking to hire new talent or start a new career, Vector Technical has you covered. Vector Technical is a 28-year-old staffing firm that has helped thousands of job seekers advance in their career with reputable partners throughout northeastern Ohio. Vector Technical is more than just a temp agency. With an above-average hire-in rate of 1 in 4 candidates, Vector works hard to connect the right person with the right opportunity the first time. Vector Technical hires for skilled manufacturing and light industrial work and is sure to have a career that you've been looking for. To learn more, visit our website at www.vectortechnicalinc.com.
Welcome back to the Voice of Land here on the Big Play Network. Kevin Arnold alongside Always Positive Jay and Audio, our producer extraordinaire. And we are joined by Browns running back Demetric Felton. And the main reason we had Demetric on the show, thanks to Always Positive Jay for reaching out to him to get him on tonight, is Star Wars. And Demetric, I know you're a big Star Wars fan.
Look, we all got our Star Wars.
We all got our gear on. So I gotta ask you, when did you, like, what age did you first catch on to Star Wars? Were you first, and who got you into it?
I feel like I don't remember the age, but I just remember the first Star Wars movie I saw. I think it was when the episode 3 of the prequels came out. And I watched it with my family, and then all my friends around me were into it too. And so we would always just play around and just play with lightsabers and whatnot and just like pretend and have fun with that. And so that's how I initially got into it, just being around friends, and we all were able to bond over it and have fun with playing with those toys. And then as I started to get older and started to understand what's like really going on, I just it kind of just took off, and I just love the story. I love the Star Wars universe, all the different characters and everything. So I don't think I'm ever gonna stop being a Star Wars fan.
Now you're living in California, so I think they have the Star Wars thing at Disneyland out there.
Yeah,
Have you
and
been to it?
I haven't been there yet, but I told my parents today. I was like, I gotta go. I gotta go see that while I'm here. So I'm definitely gonna
We
let
might
you
have
know
to
how
just
that.
tag along and make it a whole show trip. Just
Yeah, that'll be awesome. That'll really be awesome because I want to go so badly.
Well, I mean, my honeymoon's going to be in at Disney World coming up in May, and I know they have their edition of Galaxy's Edge. Like, I know in California and Disneyland, they have the Marvel stuff, and Disney World doesn't. But they have the life-size Millennium Falcon, and I got like that's one of the
Yeah.
first things that her and I have to do when we get to that park. We got to go to Galaxy's Edge, have to go through the Millennium Falcon. Uh, what character do you most associate with, Demetric? Like, who best represents you? Who do you want to be in the Star Wars universe?
Well, I would say, hmm. Okay. I would say he's like one of my favorite, but the reason why I like him so much is just because he's just always so loyal, and no matter what happened. And he's like one of the newer characters in the prequels. I talk about Captain Rex all the time. He was basically like Anakin Skywalker's right hand man, the 501st Legion. And so I just loved how he, no matter what, what happened, he was always loyal to Anakin and his troopers, that beside him and whatnot. And he always got the job done. So I would say that's one guy that I think I associate with the most.
Who on the Browns would be Chewbacca?
Ooh.
I mean, we hit the hard hitting questions here on this
Yeah.
show.
I would say,
Now, Chewie's like you said, he's another loyal guy. He sticks with Han all the time. He's tough as nails, but he's pretty. He can get loud when he needs to. So
I would say Njoku then. David Njoku.
Joku,
Okay.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
He's huge.
Oh yeah.
Who's your Luke Skywalker on the Browns?
Luke Skywalker. Ooh. Let me think. I would say Nick.
Nick Chubb would be a good one.
Definitely Chubb.
Yeah.
The Force is strong in Nick.
Oh yeah.
That dude can lay down some Force blatant stiff arms there.
Now, I mean, one of my favorite characters is Han Solo. Like, who? We won't go through all the characters
Yeah,
and
we'll
try to
give
get
one
through like
more.
the whole roster, but like one more. I gotta ask, like Han Solo. He seems, kind of sneaky and sketchy, being, kind of going through the trails and working with those guys like Jabba and everything. But he always once he kind of connects with Luke and the Force, he always comes through in the end. Like, he's one of the big guys to be there to help out, help Luke, help the Force, and help the rebels at the end. Who is that Han Solo on this team?
This is a tough one.
I mean, those are some
But I
big
don't know
shoes to
why,
fill.
why you're describing it. The first person that came to mind was Ward for
Yeah.
some reason.
Ward. See, we personally love him. Him being from Cleveland, we're huge Ward fans.
Hmm.
I can see Denzel Ward being that. Like, he always gets the job done. He's always going to come through. He can.
Now, you've seen the hit that he had in the dude from Maryland when he was Ohio State, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. So I'll just go ahead and say Ward shot first.
Yeah.
He can probably hit the parse.
Yeah.
Hit the run in 12 parsecs.
Like
so.
Did you guys like those comparisons? Pretty
Yeah,
good.
those are pretty good
oh
ones.
yeah. Like I mean, Njoku. Like as soon as you said that with Chewbacca, like I just like saw him dressing up as that. Like it just naturally came together. Like the
next
image was right
Halloween,
there.
What you need to do is you need to organize and get the whole team to dress up like all Star Wars characters.
Oh man, I'll try it. I'll try it. We'll
you
see.
could do it.
Yeah.
So, what are your favorite? Like, there's the 3 series. There's the episodes 1 through 3, then 4 through 6, and then they have the latest last 3. What were your favorite, like triplets of those set? What was your all-time favorite?
So I don't think they made the prequels great like in the movies, but like just story wise and how they've kind of expanded on that now. I love the prequels. And then next to that, I would say the original trilogy, of course. But the sequels, I didn't like the direction that they went, and I feel like they could have went a different way.
It's like one of my favorite is actually has nothing to do with any of them. It's Rogue One. I thought Rogue One was amazing.
Rogue One was really good, but that's basically a part of the original trilogy, or part of that story. So no, that was a great movie, that was one of the new ones that I really liked.
Yeah, Rogue One's my favorite. That's because it changed A New Hope completely.
Yeah.
So, because I mean, I'm older. I grew up. New Hope was like the Star Wars. You know, I was maybe, I don't know, 9 or 10 when like Return of the Jedi came out. So I loved the Ewoks when I was a little kid. But now I go back and I watch it. I'm like, I can't believe I love these things so much. But yeah, that was fun. I remember my dad told me at the theater. We saw Star Wars at the theater. He told me Chewbacca because we just saw him on the poster. He's like, he's gonna come out from behind a curtain. So I was like scared the whole time. So anyway, yeah, New Hope, Rogue One, best. What do you think of the Bad Batch?
I was gonna ask about that.
I really like the Bad Batch. I like the idea that, and in that show, it filled in a lot of just like areas of confusion of what happened like in between and how the Empire came to power, how they did it. And so I really enjoyed that show, and I think they're having a new season coming up soon too. So
Now you watched the Clone Wars too, correct?
I love the Clone Wars.
See, I've never seen any of the animated yet, but I'm going to start watching those. But I heard the Clone Wars, some people say, is like the best Star Wars stuff there is.
Yeah, that's what like made me love the prequels even more. It starts off a little slow, but it gets so good.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you like if the animated series, because we know the Star Wars universe. Yes, there's the 9 movies right now, but it goes so much deeper. There's comic books. There's actual books out there with Star Wars. There's the animated series. Now I was going to ask you, but you kind of just answered it there, that they've helped make the prequels. I think for a lot of people, the Clone Wars especially has helped kind of make it a little bit more acceptable, and people get into those movies more, at least the story, so they get through the other issues they have with them. But of course, right now you have Disney Plus, which is bringing out all the Marvel stuff, and I wish we had a lot of time to get into all that stuff, and maybe a couple too many football questions, but you plan for a lot, you only get to so much. Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett. I know Book of Boba Fett's only halfway through, but which storyline you kind of liking more? In end of episode or chapter 4 in Book of Boba Fett, are we getting the crossover that we need now in Book of Boba Fett?
I definitely think we are getting that crossover. They're like hinting towards it.
They played his music right there at the end of it, which is I love that little
Yeah, so I think we're gonna get the crossover. That's gonna be exciting. I feel like it's gonna pick up a lot more. I didn't like how they did his whole backstory of going like in the past and the future. It got like really confusing, but I still feel like it was good that they showed it. But I do like the Mandalorian way better. Like I was hooked on the Mandalorian as soon as it started.
After you agreed to come on with us, I went back and started watching all the Mandalorian, and yeah, it's definitely starting off better, but we're only like 4 episodes. It's still into Boba Fett, so
Yeah, it's hard to like say exactly which one's better, but
They are just different too. Like
Yeah.
one is a lot more. A Mandalorian is a lot more action, where Boba Fett is more like it looks like it's setting up for something.
Yeah. And I feel like we're gonna get a lot more action now since, like you said, the war is coming soon. So
mhm.
And I'm so excited to see him ride that rain car.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that thing is a beast, man. We need to put that guy on the defensive line with you guys. Like, holy moly, that thing's huge.
I was like, man, there's no way they can't have one down there. Like in the beginning when it was gone and whatnot, and then they gave one as a gift. It's so confusing to me how the Huts came to power. I just don't understand.
Yeah, we need a backstory on the Huts and who they really are. Like, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, how do these big like worm things like intimidate anybody? Like, I'd be like, no, I'm gonna walk away from you because you're fat. You're just fat and slow. Like, what are you gonna do to me? Like, yeah, I never understood how they got to power.
Well, once I was showing the movie The Spaceballs, and I saw Pizza the Hut in that one, where they're like doing the the ironic version of all those types of movies. And
You've seen Spaceballs, correct?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's the spoof on all
Yeah,
the Star Wars. It's
know-
like an '80s movie. It
Yeah.
is hilarious. You gotta watch it.
yeah, it's scary. It's scary movie for like Star Wars and those types of movies. But every time now I see Jabba the Hutt, I can't like look at him any differently after seeing Pizza the Hut with that. Just because like how funny Spaceballs was. But of course, Star Wars will always supersede anything like that.
I mean, John Candy plays the spoof of Chewbacca on here, so
Yeah.
just let you know. That's what you're in for.
So
Let me check it out.
yeah, and I highly recommend those kind of movies or anything by Mel Brooks, those spoof movies that he does. I highly recommend kind of a change of pace type movie for you. But we appreciate you being on here, Demetric. I got to ask you before you get out, because I know you're a big Uno guy as well. One rule that my fiance and I are big on, the rule of stacking like the +4s, the draw 2s, the draw 4s, the wild cards, and things like that. Uno says you're not supposed to. Do you guys play with the stacking or don't you?
You have to play with the stacking.
Okay.
You can only stack +4s with +4s, +2s with +2s. We even stack on skips though, and a lot of people don't like agree with that. How do you feel about that?
We tend not to, but I've played both ways. Like it does make it more exciting, but when you play it straight up, it's it's different experience. Like it feels like a different experience. I feel like a lot of people stack now, but I've played both ways, and I know we talked before we came on. You have the all wild card game for Uno. I think we have it too. Man, we may have to like connect again at some point and try to like whether virtually or whatever. We gotta try to get a Uno game going or something. I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
All right.
There's
Demetric.
definitely. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say the main rule that makes my family's Uno different is called jumping. So say like it's my turn and the person next to me, it's my turn, I throw down a yellow 7. The person next to me is supposed to go, we're going clockwise.
Mhm.
If someone else in the other group has the same exact card that I have, they can skip, like basically jump that person and
wow.
put that card down, and it'll start to the next person after that. And
Now,
so
does
it
that
makes it
person
go like-
have to throw it down before the person before him, like a race?
Yeah, it's basically like a race. And
Oh, so
it just
So it gets violent there too, doesn't it?
yeah.
Man,
So
so
like real slide, just like throw it down real quick. You gotta be paying attention to the deck and your cards all the time. You can use different cards, give you a little advantage. So
that's a cool little rule. I
cool
like
little
that.
rule. I see kind of how you guys are playing the game of Uno. So we ever get a chance, I'll be ready. Don't worry, we'll be ready. But Demetric, we truly appreciate you taking time. I know you're in the off season, enjoying some nice warm weather. You got some time left in your day, so appreciate you taking the time. Hopefully, we can have you on again at some
At
point
the end
too.
of Boba Fett, we got to have you on to wrap it up for us.
Yes, at the end of Boba Fett. We'll do.
we got a lot more to discuss. So
Yes.
I'll definitely be back.
Absolutely. Demetric Felton, thank you so much. You go enjoy time with your family. That was Demetric Felton, and we thank him so much for coming on the show tonight. What a great time. And
Well, that
there's
was
so
awesome.
so much more to get into, because before the show we were talking like Marvel and explaining Peter being
I could have did a whole show with them. And like you said, it was just like, you're like, we need a break. I'm like, I don't want a break.
and honestly, we could do a whole show without even talking an ounce of football like
Yeah.
we did. Had to get a couple out there because, you know,
I'm sure people want to hear about football, but
yeah, you know, like
we want to talk Star Wars.
I was watching the amount of views when we went from football to Star Wars or some of the other stuff. Like, you know, the amount of viewers in here kind of dropped.
That's
but,
our problem.
yeah, you know.
Then we didn't even get into our Marvel stuff.
They're probably
like that's a whole nother show we could have did.
And they're probably Trekkies.
Yeah.
I do like Star Trek, but Star Wars over Star Trek all day. That could get into a big debate.
Yeah.
So we're going to leave it right there because we have more to get into for the rest of the show. But in this break, if you want some of that Voice of the Land gear, you know, you don't need a Star Wars shirt, but you need a Voice of the Land shirt. We got just the place for you to get that. This is the Voice of the Land of the Big Play Network.
Are you struggling to hire the right talent or maybe even find the right career? Vector Technical makes it easy. Since 1992, Vector has provided Ohio employers with a reliable process for hiring and have helped thousands of job seekers advance in their careers. Vector Technical is more than just a temp agency. We invest time to get to know each client and candidate personally. Vector places people in job opportunities that they are truly excited about. Interested in learning more? Visit our website at www.vectortechnicalinc.com to see a full list of our current job opportunities and to find out what Vector Technical can offer you.
Get your gear at voiceoftheland.com/shop.
Welcome back to the Voice of the Land here on the Big Play Network. Kevin Arnold alongside Always Positive Jay and Peter Telep, or Audio as he's better known now on the show. And we are scheduled to be joined by Gabriel Pewu of the Cleveland Crunch to talk last night's game and kind of where his soccer journey has led him. We are looking to connect with him here, so we might get to that here in this segment or the final segment as well. Bit of a shorter segment here. I know we got on a little later to the system. I know it frustrates Audio all the time. Like, you know, he's like this great AI system and all these, you know, just
inferior machines below him not living up to his machine.
He's like 100 years ahead of the, you know.
Well, I just don't understand why it's like you have to schedule, you have to have everything in place, and if it's like 10 minutes, if it's exactly 10 minutes before we want to start the show, and you hit it, it's like, nope, sorry.
Yeah, you know, you gotta give that. It's 15 minutes or it's nothing. It's 15-minute buffer.
Normally we are fine, except the weather kind of played a little bit of a role in, I think, everyone getting here on time, and hopefully it won't play a role in everyone getting home safely. So
yeah, so I mean, hopefully everybody is being safe out there. We don't want to joke about anything because I know, Peter, you got here a little earlier than we did, or left even earlier, and roads were fine. And then it's in Northeast Ohio when those lake effect storms hit, or just that big squall of snow comes in. It's like road crews can't. There's no way to keep up with it. All the roads were bad. I mean, there may have been like one little stretch which kind of surprised me because there's always accidents. Like you always hear Vrooman Road, you always hear Interbell Bridge or something like that. But a spot closer to us as we go back to Lake County is Eddy Road. And like that was the clearest road that I had driving in.
Well, that's just it, because when I used to have to commute every day, I'd go past Eddy Road every single day. There's like an accident or backup between MLK and Eddy Road, and it's like clockwork. So it didn't matter. And then today coming in here, the only thing I noticed that was kind of bit like Route 2 was clear, but only 2 lanes.
Yeah,
like they didn't even plow like the fast lane.
Yeah,
which was fine because people
don't need to be going fast anyway.
Well, and there wasn't a lot of.
There were people doing that
because when we came out, there were only a couple of cars. I mean, there wasn't a lot of traffic, but going to the game last night, there was quite a bit of there was a lot more traffic and people driving like crazy. I'm glad I didn't see that today.
Yeah, I don't know. We had the snow for some reason when I got from 176 to 480. Man, I timed it up perfectly for ODOT to come racing through, and then the snow just pushed my car like almost to the side. So, but got here on time. So, and had to come in for the show because we got a guest-a-palooza, and we are now joined by Cleveland Crunch forward, number 19, Gabriel Pewu, who had a couple goals last night in the Crunch's 8-4 win over in-state rival, the Cincinnati Swerve. Gabriel, thank you so much for taking time to join us tonight. How's it going? Are you staying warm and safe tonight with all that snow going on? Can you hear us?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, trust me, if people don't have to go anywhere tonight, don't go anywhere. But Gabriel, to let you know, my co-host, Always Positive Jay, or Jay Banky, he's better known as Always Positive Jay on Twitter. He had his first experience coming out to the game last night, like first ever soccer experience last night. And I know last night the first half wasn't exactly how you guys wanted it to go. And I talked to Ryan and Rylan after the game. For you, what was that kind of transition from first half to second half? Like what were the guys saying? Were you getting guys going for that second half and coming out like you guys did in that second half to finish the job?
Yeah, it was just kind of, the first half didn't go as well as we wanted it to. We had a fair share of mistakes, and we just weren't connecting like we wanted to. So we got into halftime. That's when we really just regrouped. We knew what we needed to do. Guys talked to each other. Coach came to us. He gave us a little bit of direction. And then when the second half came out, I think, we found our rhythm, and then, we're able to capitalize on opportunities that we had, and we ended up getting the win. So
Now, this being my first ever soccer experience in my entire life, it seemed really, really physical. And I heard Kevin, as he was announcing, saying the refs were kind of letting it be a little bit. Was that a more physical game than you guys normally play?
Well, first and foremost, I'm glad that was like your first soccer experience. Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome.
I mean, dude, it was awesome. It blew my mind, like how fun it really was to watch all that.
Yeah, and indoor is a little bit of a different game. It's just nonstop, offense in a sense. So, it's super exciting.
Very fast.
Yeah. So, sorry, I forgot your question. Can you ask it one more time? Of the physicality.
Yeah, was yesterday normal? Is that like normally how physical it is? Because it seemed like the refs were kind of letting a lot of things go, and there was a point it looked like almost it was a fight almost was going to break out, but it got a little physical there, Chippy. Is that how it normally is? Because I'm seeing you guys bouncing off the walls, and it's reminding me of hockey over here. And I'm like, you guys are playing soccer, and you guys are not normally perceived as, like a physical game, more like just your feet. But those walls and stuff, it just seemed a lot more physical than I thought it was.
Yeah, for sure. The walls definitely make it a little more physical, for sure. It makes it sound a little bit worse. When you're playing like 11v11, you're able to fall on grass or turf, so it doesn't maybe look as bad. But sometimes when you do get knocked into the wall, like, you can mess yourself up, you can get hurt, so you kind of have to be careful. But yeah, it is. Football is always, a physical game. Soccer is always a physical game, and it sounds a little bit worse when it's coming off those walls, and it can't hurt you. So got to be a little bit, more careful and just more aware. But yeah, it's a physical game for sure.
I love the fact that you guys can kick it off the walls to yourself and stuff. Like, that's cool to me. Like, I don't know what it was. I was like, oh, so you could kick it, miss the goal on purpose, and bounce it right back to yourself and just rocket one in there. I love that. That's my favorite thing from the difference between outdoor and indoor.
Yeah, it took me back to when I was a kid. I hadn't played with walls since I was probably 8-9 years old. So it's definitely a readjustment. But it's fun to have that wall game. 'Cause I remember as a kid, bouncing off the wall and playing it to myself, and then dribbling and scoring, or assisting or doing whatever. So it brings it's a different aspect of the game, and it brings me a lot of joy. Just giving me that childhood memory for sure.
Pewu, you and I kind of had like similar experience. When we grew up, it was more so you still had a lot of facilities with the walls, and now that's been reduced as kind of facilities have gone to more of that outdoor field turf, cut a little bit shorter, but basically playing an outdoor game just in an indoor format. I like that the arena game is still there, and we were just talking about the physicality. For you, it seems like you almost welcome the physicality game. You do all the dirty work, mentioning it on the broadcast all the time, in there doing all the dirty work, and then taking the chances when they're there for you, but just posting up top to win the ball get opportunities for other teammates. What is your what would you describe your approach as when you get on the field when Coach Costello puts you in? What is your mindset to maybe change the pace or change the game? How are you looking to do that?
Um, uh, I guess a couple ways. One is definitely posting up, and I have trust in my abilities to be able to spin a guy or be able to fake and lay it off to another teammate. So that's definitely one of the ways. And then also in transition, I bring a different pace. I think I have some pace to myself, and I use that to my strength. So sometimes when Musa gets a ball in his hands, I immediately break out because I know he can find me, and I know if it's a 1v1 with another defender, I've trusted myself that I can probably beat him or beat him to the ball or make something happen, whether it's a foul, whether it's a shot on goal, something. So I just try to, in any way I can, just try to make an impact, whether it's defensively, in transition, talking to teammates. I just try to make an impact. So just try to score goals. That's my job, and I try to do that as much as possible and try to make an impact for the team.
Gabriel Pewu is our guest here on the Voice of the Land. Now, Gabriel, I want to backtrack just real quick. Can you describe your journey from kind of growing up playing the game? What got you from that point to how did you end up linking up with the Crunch? I always like to ask the guys, like, what led them and how did this group of guys come together? Like, the different stories of that path to getting this reincarnation of the Cleveland Crunch going again.
Yeah, so I came from Cleveland Heights High School, in Cleveland Heights. Played for Eastside Kickers, PFCs, Cleveland Select, all that. Played for Cleveland Heights High School, played for Ambassadors FC as well, throughout high school, and then ended up having the opportunity to go to Cleveland State. Played there for 4 years, 4 great years. Shout out Cleveland State, my fellow Vikings.
Hey, alumni right here too, man. CSU.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, yes. And then after school, it was a very interesting time for me because COVID was right when I was about to graduate. So that was March of 2020 is when everything kind of started shutting down, and I graduated May of 2020. So I had some opportunities, and I was talking to some people after school got out, but then everything kind of shut down with COVID. So as things started opening back up, I'm trying to find avenues to play, and I heard about the Crunch, and I honestly didn't know much about them, but I knew a little bit because I don't know if I played at one of the games, but I remember going to like an indoor game, and I remember being the Crunch. I don't know how many pictures, but like I remember going to a game or something like that when I was a kid. So I knew a little bit, but then I just looked them up, did my research, found out how successful they were in the past, and Eric and Luch and Joe, and they were serious about bringing it back and making this program as great as it was back in the day. So I wanted to be a part of that. It's my hometown. I love Cleveland. It's my city. Like, it's like Cleveland against the world. So I decided try out. Got an opportunity, and then it's been a blessing ever since.
Yeah, like growing up, like I said, this is my first soccer experience. I've never been to a game, never watched a game, but I always knew about the Cleveland Crunch because they would win so many championships. And being from Cleveland, we didn't win too many, and we'd be like, "Oh, you didn't win anything." But like, dude, we got the Cleveland Crunch. They win it every year. Leave us alone. Like, we had pride. Like, as long as you're keeping score and you're playing for Cleveland, like, I'm rooting for you. Like, for sure. That's just the way it is. Like, but the Crunch, dude, they really are a huge tradition in this city. Like, everyone knows who the Cleveland Crunch is.
Absolutely. I feel like, a lot of the guys on our team, have had, some type of connection to the Crunch in the past. And, everyone has that Cleveland pride, Whenever you put on something Cleveland, you feel a little bit different. When you have that Cleveland Crunch patch, when you have it on you, you have something to prove in that, it's not taken lightly. We have a very, very successful past, and we want to have a very, very successful future. So, blessing to add to that last year, and then, we want to defend it and win again this year.
And for you, Pewu, I know last night you guys get the win, go to 3-0 on the season. But talking with Ryan and Riley, and even just kind of seeing you guys after the game as we're kind of cleaning up all the production stuff from doing the live streams and everything, and just as you guys are doing autographs, hanging out with family, you guys are happy about the win, but there's that true, next game mentality or one game at a time mentality that you hear the cliche in sports all the time. Where does that come from? How natural is that for this group? Even, whether guys have played together before the crunch or not, how natural was that from the start, and even as the chemistry has grown till now, to have that even keel mentality and be ready to recover, then get ready for that next challenge?
Yeah, I think a lot of the guys playing with each other in the past are having some type of connection, either playing against each other, a year age, a year above or below, or something like that. I think that definitely plays a part, but we just hold ourselves to a high standard each and every week. We know what we want to do. We know our goals, and we want to achieve them. We're going to do each and whatever we need to do to try to achieve those goals. So, we know that it's a marathon, not a sprint. We're not going to get every single thing right every single time, but we want to get as close to perfection as possible. And it's still early. This past weekend was a tough matchup. Cincinnati really did come to play, and it was a dogfight. It was a dogfight out there. I think that everyone who was there saw it, and we just want to continue just to build upon that and just take it week by week, game by game. And if we take it week by week, quarter by quarter, if we can, just take it that pace, then I think we have a very good shot. But it's just pacing yourself. You can't go all out at one game and then have the level drop in the next. You just got to continue to just push forward and move on through the mistakes, through the highs and through the lows, and just try to stay consistent.
And I mean, consistency will be, is going to be, I'm sure, the main talk of practices this week as you guys hit 2 games over the next weekend, Saturday at 7 and Sunday at 3. If anybody wants tickets, they want to get out, of course, they can head over to theclevelandcrunch.com. We are proud to sponsor and be connected with the Cleveland Crunch here on the Voice of the Land, and of course with LPV Productions bringing those live streams. For you guys, Pewu, I mean, was there any talk after the game or even like in group chats to this point of what it's going to take? Like, how do you approach a weekend where you're going to play the same team, you're going to play back-to-back days in less than a 24-hour turnaround?
The approach is the same every week. Go out there and perform at a high level. We know what we're capable of. Every team goes through, moments of tough times. They're playing back to back, and maybe it's the same team, maybe it's not. Every team has to go through that, and we just have to go through that and just put that aside and just focus on the match. I feel like it might be a struggle to, at first, but then once we get into that mindset, into that game mode, and once we step onto the pitch, we have a job to do. We have a patch to represent, and we have a championship to protect right now. So it's just the mentality. Just as soon as we get on the field, just changes, and we're gonna fight for our brothers and try to get the job done each and every week.
Well, you guys definitely get the job done. Most weeks you guys got the championship last year, and I know the mindset has completely shifted to 2022, and I loved hearing that from Coach Kostelic in that celebration before the home opener this year. And I mean, you guys have such great leaders on the team. Is there, just before we get you out of here, one final question? How is that dynamic of, Dave Jordan is the captain, but Moosa's calling things out. How is that dynamic of everybody being able to kind of have a voice and have a part in this process and trying to defend and keep that championship mentality, like that give and take of leadership and, listening when others may speak up or need the floor to say something and get the guys going?
Yeah, it's great to have that leadership, especially for the young guys like myself. It's just only my second year. DJ is a lot older than me, but it feels like, it's not like a weird thing at all. We expect a lot from each other, and we hold all each other to a lot of high standards. So, DJ call me out, I'll call out DJ. Any guy on the team, we're not performing to, the standard that we know we can perform at, and, the play that, we can play at, the level that we can play at, we're gonna call each other out, and it's okay. It's normal for it. It's over for us, It's a good thing. It keeps all of us trying to perform at the highest level possible, and it gets the guys going. We're very, very hard on ourselves, and I think that's what makes us good. So when it gets to the games, you know, it meshes well because we all expect, okay, your touch is going to be good. We're going to connect here. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. You know, we have our set plays, this and that. So yeah, it's great to have that leadership. You know, Bobby, DJ, you know, Mikey, you know, all the vets in the game. Essentially, you know, it's good to have the leadership. It's good to have Coach Kostelik on the touchline. It's good to have Bernat. You know, Antonio Manford has always come around and given his you know, his advice as well. So, you know, hearing all these, you know, these great voices and these great leaders, and it really helps all the young guys like myself. You know, like I said, this is only my second year playing in indoor, and so, you know, just get all this advice, and I'm just like, I try to act like a sponge, just and take it all, and just try to learn and just to continue to develop my game. So.
Well, seeing a huge development in your game, Gabriel, and I know you're knocking on the door of that man of the match, you know, kind of honor at the end of these games, and look forward to the time I get to interview you during the post game, as we kind of started with last week or last night, honestly, with Ryan and Rylan. Ryan mentioned you last night and countless times, saying you were a close second, if not the man of the match last night, for all the work that you put in last night. So respect amongst teammates is very evident, and it's a fun time. Make sure you guys get out there, go visit theclevelandcrunch.com to get your tickets. If you can't, we'll have the live streams on the Cleveland Crunch YouTube channel, courtesy of LPV Productions and the Cleveland Crunch. But Gabriel, Pewu, we thank you so much for coming on. Look forward to the chance to talk to you again, and anytime you want to come on, you are more than welcome here on the Voice of the Land.
Appreciate you guys, man. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Good luck the rest of the season. That is Gabriel Pewu, forward for your defending MASL2 champion, the Cleveland Crunch. We got to hit our final break of the night and come back for just a short wrap-up segment with any time remaining. This is the Voice of the Land on the Big Play Network.
Are you looking for a career in manufacturing? Vector Technical has you covered. Vector Technical is a 28-year-old staffing firm that is partnered with some of the biggest and the best companies throughout northeastern Ohio. The recruiters at Vector Technical will coach you through the entire job process and will help you land an opportunity that you are truly excited about. Vector does not add any additional fees and offers benefits as well as free online skills training through Penn Foster. To learn more, visit www.vectortechnicalinc.com and make sure to check out our job board to see a full list of our current opportunities and apply.
Welcome back to the Voice of the Land. Kevin Arnold alongside Always Positive Jay and audio here on the Big Play Network. We only got a couple minutes left, guys, and
What a show.
what a show!
For real.
We our show page had tweeted out saying "Guest-a-Palooza." I mean, one heck of a show, and
Great weekend overall, man. First soccer game, and like I said, like that blew me away how much more exciting than I thought it was going to be. Like I was going in, like you were telling me, like there's more action than I got there, and I'm like, you see me when they scored, I was like, yeah! I was like, whoa, we're in the press box. I'm not supposed to be yelling. Like I got really pumped up.
yeah, but I mean, we're the home team's broadcast, so it gets a little different, right?
Well, I'm used to hearing
We can be
you know,
homers.
yeah, like when you hear like Riz and all them on 850 talk about it, like they can't talk in the press box, so I didn't
Right.
think we were allowed to talk. And everyone else is behind me, so I'm like, yes! And I'm like, oh, I hope no. And then everyone else is cheering. I'm like, okay, cool. It's like I thought I was the only one for a second there.
I mean, you know, they are a team trying to get back to the upper echelon, and a team that probably could play. Honestly, could play. I know that they could hang in the upper echelon, but you got to build back when you become a new team in this new era of professional indoor soccer. You got to build, and you know they just have this championship mentality that no matter what level they're at, they're going to play. But you know, we have a little bit more leeway. I've kind of learned when to turn it on and when to turn it off. I got a little too homerish last night with the referees and everything. You mentioned that.
Yeah, dude. Like I don't know if you guys, man, they just let a lot go. Even I know some of those. I'm
They
like,
let a lot go.
they just push that guy into the wall. I don't think you're allowed to do that, but whatever.
Yeah, there was.
I mean, I was enjoying it because I like to watch hockey, so I'm like, this is like soccer and hockey mixed here. These guys.
Well, the funny thing is, you know, trying to get our system hooked up to the scoreboard there. You know, I'm trying to get it. I got it hooked up, and I'm trying to get the actual data coming off the scoreboard. We had some internet issues, you know, in the venue, our network issues that caused, you know, we weren't able to do it ultimately. But the actual thing I have to select to get the data is hockey. And after I was messing around with it, I looked over and on the little sticker, like because they have a little pad of like, you know, hit this button to, for one goal for home or visitor, all the little shortcuts. And I'm like, oh, it says hockey. Like, son of a, because it is. It's a lot like hockey.
Right.
And I'm the same as you, Jay. Last year in May, we did the final home game. That was like the first one we did the live stream for. And I was like, I had gone to Crunch games when I was a kid, but I didn't really remember much of it. And I've seen soccer, like outdoor soccer, and I was just like, it's, these games are like 1-0, and it's like 90 minutes, and it's like,
I'll still make that sound like the most exciting thing you've ever seen in
your
your
life.
You will.
Yeah, you definitely do.
Not to toot my own horn.
But then, that game though, I was like, holy cow, this is intense. I mean, it was intense.
Yeah.
And it really was, and it's fun. It's really
Who's the
fun
one guy?
night.
Is it Blackwell on their team?
Blackwood.
Oh man,
I think
he's
he had a nice
beast, man.
I think he had
is
a nice
physical.
pass off the wall to himself.
Yeah. Dude,
I think it was towards the end of the game, and he's just coming down, and he's just like
he's
passing
tough,
right
man.
past the defender.
He's the bulldog of that team, without a doubt, man. He is tough.
Well, and Pewu was talking about his ability to spin around defenders when he posts up, if not like laying it off to another teammate. Blackwood's the same. Like every guy on there, I saw some of the most like beautiful pirouettes on a soccer field that I've seen in a long time last night by everybody. I mean, they're led by Mikey Derzic, who's got, I think now 7 goals on the, 7 or 8 goals on the season. So, but every guy it seems like it contributes. Like even if one guy's scoring a lot, it just seems like it's a whole team effort to get there. It's so fun out there.
And that was fun. We're sitting there talking Star Wars to the Browns player, Kevin.
Like,
do you realize that we did that today?
You know what our show page is going to tweet out to like say that we were joined, to remind people we were joined if they couldn't join and if they couldn't tune in and enjoy that tonight. It's going to be the Step Brothers. Like, did we just become best friends?
Exactly.
I
Like,
think we did.
This dude loves Legos, Uno, Star Wars. We didn't even get into it. Like, we were talking behind the scenes. He's a huge Marvel guy like us. I'm like, dude, do we just like become best friends? Like, is this guy coming on our show now on a monthly basis? What's happening here?
The one thing we didn't get into that I also saw in Building the Browns, like that had like all the information that kind of led me into being able to kind of Google and research a little bit easier. They do a great job with that. I'd put that up against Hard Knocks any single day with Building the Browns in that series throughout the season, especially in the off season. But he actually has a list of all of the running backs and wide receivers that were drafted in front of him. Like, not to say, because he knows some of them, and some of them, Anthony Schwartz was drafted in front of him as a third round wide receiver, so he's got to be on that
list. He's an overcomer.
Like,
he got drafted to a team that has Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Dearness Johnson.
Yeah.
He made the team. That tells you something, dude. That he's a special player, man.
Yeah, and there was other stuff like Browns-wise we could get into, but we
don't want to.
Right?
I mean, you guys are going to hear all the same questions to the media.
Browns
we want to have fun with these guys. They don't want to talk football all the time.
No.
Like, we want to get to know the player, like I said, behind the mask, who they really are. They're not just football players. They're people just like us, believe it or not. I don't know if you guys knew this, but
no, and like I know people say like they want these players to be off social media and everything, but then they get mad when they're not responding to, or they don't do what they ask them to do, but they're only asking them to do things on social media. Like I'm not getting Browns players or any player, Cavs, Guardians, Crunch, anything like that into the scuttlebutt on Twitter, especially Browns Twitter. I'm not getting.
Oh, I had people, they wanted me to ask him about the Baker video breakdown, which, if you want my opinion, I think it's ridiculous to break down a video of a guy after he gets off of anesthesia. But that's just my opinion. Y'all want to talk about it? Go ahead. We ain't doing it.
That was the hot story this week. Guess what?
Just because something's a hot topic doesn't need it, should be, or necessarily has to be.
Yeah. I'm not arguing with people that say that, he's against Cleveland, or the fan saying that, oh, he's still for us and he's, like that, everything he said in that video was great. I'm not arguing what he said or anything. I don't give a crap about.
Like I saw the video. I was like, oh, good for you. Your surgery went well. And that's all I thought.
Guess
and
what?
then like hours later, like first it was Brown's Twitter breaking it down. Certain people, I don't know who Off-Season Chomps is. He's verified on there, but he breaks it down.
People that get.
Then I got 2 other shows that break it down. I'm like, dude, it's a post-surgery video. The dude is on pain meds and anesthesia. Anyone that questioned that, you go to the dentist and you do a video right after you get out of this, and I want to see you talk coherent, because none of you will do as good as he did.
No,
Just
You'll be
go-
like the famous one with the kid.
Yeah.
Is this real life? Like that's what you're
Right.
gonna end
I was
up
gonna
talking.
say, just go on YouTube. I mean, there
Yeah,
are so many
there's-
parents that post kid, their kid videos that are like the kid's just like out of their mind. So
There's plenty of that all over. The only way to wrap up all of that and to wrap up the show tonight is a message to Cleveland fans, and I'm not going to go on a rant. All I'm going to say is, well, first of all, Twitter's like the Oprah Winfrey show. You get a blue check mark. You get a blue check mark. You get a blue check mark.
We don't get blue check marks, but
Yeah.
we should.
Stop arguing over the stupidest things. We're not breaking down a video after a guy gets out of surgery more than every single throw and single thing that he does. Stop getting in your feelings too much. Stop watching the playoffs if all you're going to think is, well, that guy did that for this team. Why can't this guy do this for our team? Oh my God, like we don't have anything nice. Just be Browns fans, be Cleveland fans, and guess what? You got a great team. You got two great teams playing right now. Your Cleveland Cavaliers and the Cleveland Crunch. Go out to a game or tune in to the broadcast if you can. Much more accessible for the Cleveland Crunch. Live Cleveland, love Cleveland. Stop all this stupid bickering and in your feelings arguing, and just have fun. Whatever you're into, have fun. Just like we had fun with Demetric Felton
How
tonight.
does it go? Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to suffering. Hate leads to suffering.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Well,
I
no.
botched it. Just
Yeah, you
don't
did.
be mad. That's the whole
all I'm
point.
gonna throw in there is the Cleveland Crunch home game streams are free to watch.
Yes, they are.
Yep.
So if you see any links
you
that
have
want your
Hulu
information, if
or
you
cable, it doesn't matter.
it's
You
just
could watch.
go to YouTube. That's it. Free to watch. If you see any posts that want your personal information to watch and sign up, don't do that. It's a
No.
scam.
Yep.
And yeah, it's just the Cleveland Crunch YouTube channel.
That's,
And
man, we had someone trying to scam for a high school basketball game.
yeah,
That gets me in my. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day.
yeah.
we got
news to me, but hey,
we got plenty of shows left. We're actually going to be off next week because the Crunch are playing on Saturday night and Sunday afternoon. It'll kind of tie right into when we would go on. Audio is, he does need to shut down for a little while. We need to power him down to save his battery a little bit. So we're going to give audio the night off next
hey man,
Sunday.
after a show like this, we think we all deserve a week off.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So for
With special thanks. Go get our special thanks for our guests.
I know. I'm going to.
All right, I thought you were closing up
No.
on me. I was making sure.
No. Always Positive Jay, we thank you so much for reaching out, just sending a tweet just to take a shot in the dark. And
You gotta shoot.
gotta
You just
shoot your shot. Demetric Felton, thank you so much for coming on the show. I know we'll have some future conversations with him, and to Gabriel Pewu from the Cleveland Crunch as well. Thank you to him and the Cleveland Crunch for having him on this evening. We are, like we said, we are proud with our partnership with the Cleveland Crunch and being a part, even a small part, a very small part, but a part nonetheless of the journey that is the Cleveland Crunch going for their second championship since being back and fifth as an organization. And with that, it's a loaded show. Guestapalooza has come to an end for the awesome, always positive Jay and producer extraordinaire audio. I'm Kevin Arnold, reminding all of you, don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game. And we truly love you all. 3,000. May the force be with you, and have a great rest of your night. We'll see you in 2 weeks.